Welcome to the Etiquette and Protocol channel. I'm Juliana Santiago, and in today's video, we're going to talk a little more about etiquette rules at breakfast. Well, today we're going to talk a little more about the correct processes for you to have your breakfast, your afternoon coffee, which is very interesting. Even if you enjoy creating family moments. If you like to set a table for this kind of occasion, or even if sometimes you don't really like to set the table, you don't really care about it, but when you go to someone's house and are presented with a situation like this. Sometimes when you attend a work meeting with these elements, or even when you travel and stay at a hotel and this situation also happens. So in this video, I'm going to show you some ways to have your breakfast in a more elegant, more sophisticated, and also safer way. Modern etiquette is really about you feeling confident, okay? So it's not just a process that will make you a more elegant person, but it will also turn you into someone who knows what to do and how to do it. So when you arrive in an environment like this one, you already know how to handle yourself. And when you feel safe and comfortable in a situation, you can be yourself. This isn't just when we're talking about a table with items like cups, saucers, glasses, and cutlery, but in any situation in your life. If we think about it, we know that every time we arrive somewhere, we already know how to handle everything that's there. What will the process be? What awaits us? We can be ourselves. So this is something very valuable for you to achieve your confidence. And then elegance and sophistication end up being a consequence of this important gain in confidence that you will have. So first, we have here a demonstration of the elements of a breakfast table. I brought a very common situation here using a cloth napkin, but there would be no problem if there was a paper napkin here instead. I brought a cloth napkin just to give you an example here. The first point we need to observe here is the use of the cup. You can use a cup like this one to serve any kind of hot drink. So you can use it to serve tea, coffee, hot chocolate in general. Yes, you can use it. And ideally, every time you set your table, you should present a cup with a saucer. Yes, we do find a lot of mugs on the market, those big mugs. I'll leave an image here for you. But this type of model, ideally, you should leave for more personal use. When you're going to drink alone, or even when you're setting up tables and situations in your daily life, usually when you're at a breakfast table, or even in another setting like a hotel, a restaurant, or even when you're preparing it at home, the ideal is to present the saucer with the cup and also find this kind of situation. The handle of the cup will always be turned to the right side because the vast majority of people are right-handed, okay? So ideally, to create a standard in the presentation of the items, the handle should be turned to the right side. But if you are left-handed, you can slightly turn the cup and use it with your left hand, okay? Are you going to use and hold the cup with your dominant hand? My dominant hand is the right one, so I'm going to turn the cup back to the right side here. When you're there, right? And when you're about to start your meal, you really need to remove this cup from the plate. Because think about it. If the plate is here, where does this cup go? And this is a very common question that I get a lot on Instagram, etiquette and protocol. So if you're enjoying this video and you like the etiquette and protocol channel, we have Instagram etiquette and protocol plus a TikTok account. Don't forget to follow us there as well. So you will place your cup on the right side and it will stay there during your meal, and then you can drink, eat, and basically go through the process. You might ask me, if you're left-handed, should you put it on the left side? But no, you should always put it on the right side. Otherwise, there's a risk that someone might take your cup. So even if you're left-handed, it's essential to keep it on the right side because otherwise there could be confusion about whose cup is whose, and it's better for you to keep your cup safe. So we're going to place the cup on this side. I'll put the cup back on the saucer. Just to mention two things I think are important for you to know. First, The cup should never be presented with the rim facing down. The correct way is always to have the cup facing up. Even for you who like to set tables in this style, do it this way. Second is about the use of the spoon. Every time you are presented with a saucer and a cup, you will usually find a spoon. Especially when you're going to sweeten any drink, your hot drink in question. I know it's super common nowadays. And even the experts prefer that we drink our coffee, the liquid coffee, even without sweetening. And I actually really enjoy drinking coffee this way. I also don't like to sweeten my coffee. But not everyone who sets a table for you, or even when you're setting a table, you don't know everyone's individual preferences. Maybe you know, and if you do, that's wonderful. You don't need to include it. But if you don't know, I recommend that you offer it. If you use your spoon, you'll stir by moving it back and forth, and then you'll place the spoon behind, right? The spoon goes behind you like this, never in front of you. Are you going to place it in this way? Why can't we mix it by making circular movements? Because it draws a lot of attention to your processes. It can drip, it can run, so everything you do in a more delicate and gentle way. It's not just that you'll be more elegant, but also because you'll be able to draw less attention to your process. Every time we want to create a positive impression on other people and want to show confidence, we make the movements. And the person interprets this as something usual and a habit for us. It's very common, for example, when you talk about a subject you're familiar with, that you speak in a lighter way and can organize your ideas a bit more. Isn't that right? It's the same thing with the processes of leading here at the breakfast table. When you are aware of leading the processes in the right way, you draw attention to what you're saying, to what you're discussing at that moment, and to what you're doing. It totally becomes a supporting factor. It gets easier for you to articulate all of this. So you're going to do it this way, bringing the cup back here to the side. Another point we can mention about using the saucer and the cup is whether you should, when using them, hold both the saucer and the cup. When we're sitting at a table like I am here, there's no need for you to hold the saucer and the cup. You can just pick up your cup and hold it. Some people are unsure about the correct way to hold a cup. Well, with the cup, here's what you'll do. You'll pinch it. You'll take these two fingers, place them here, and put your fingers underneath. See? This will give you a much more elegant posture, a much more confident posture, and it will also help you present yourself well at the table. For us to have coffee, especially when there are coffee cups or even mugs, you can place your finger, this finger like this, see, kind of wrapping around and your thumb on top. But that's for when it's coffee or when you're going to use heavier mugs as well. When it's more refined pieces, or even when you're going to have your tea, also according to the etiquette rules of the tea ritual, we can also record another video later talking about this, because here I'm just covering some general points. The ideal is for you to do this pinching process, which is very elegant and projects excellent posture. I know that having so many elements on the set table can seem a bit confusing, and you might have trouble with all of this. That's why here at Etiquette and Protocol, we have a course where I talk about the breakfast table. How are you going to set your table? What items are you going to use? And how are you going to arrange the elements? How will you serve the food and set a complete table? And most importantly, how are you going to create this table setting habit through breakfast? Because for you, who have never heard of this term table setting, or want to start creating a beautiful table, I suggest you start with breakfast. So I'll leave the link below for you to click and check out the exclusive conditions of this course and all the content that's waiting for you there. I'd love to welcome you as an individualized education program student. Continuing about the use of the cup when we are standing, the way we use the saucer changes a little, okay? Especially, you know, when you're having coffee on the couch and then you have a coffee table. So you're going to have coffee with your friends and then coffee is served. In this case, when you don't have a table near you, ideally, you should really hold the saucer with one hand, And then you'll hold the cup with your other hand, which is your dominant hand. So when you're having coffee and standing up, you should always hold the saucer in one hand and the cup in the other. All of this is to give you confidence so nothing falls or gets out of your control. Are you enjoying this content? Do you want to learn much more? I'll leave a video here on the side where I talk about etiquette for beginners. I'm sure you'll love watching this video, and it will clear up a lot of questions about other topics and etiquette rules that you might still have. I'll leave it here on the side, and I'll see you there. See you later.